We got a 65 Ford Mustang. It's one of these collector's cars that a lot of people like to have. It's got a rear brake problem. So if you're trying to restore one or work on one, we'll show you how to do it. Now our problem is the rear axle seals are leaking. We're going to change the rear brake shoes, the axle seals. We're also going to change the wheel cylinders. Once we're in there, you just might as well do it all. Put new drums on it, put it all back together. The brake job is pretty much a standard rear brake job. You can see on this one the axle seal is leaking. So we're going to take the axles out and change the axle seal. If you've never done one of these, we recommend you to just do one side at a time so that you can use the side you're not working on as reference as to how all these springs go and everything. But take the springs off and just set them aside. If the springs look like they're pretty worn and rusty and weak, they do make a spring replacement kit where you can get the parts. But ours look fine, so we're going to just reuse the springs. As you take all the parts off, and when you go back to putting them back together, you can use the other side as a reference so that you get them on the right way. Now they've got this hole in the axle that you can use to get the axle out. You can see the nuts back here, and you just have to rotate it around. Okay, after you get all the nuts off, just grab the axle and pull it. It should come right out. Now this style axle doesn't have any clips or anything on the inside. It should just pull straight out. Now to get the seal out, it's a snap-on slide hammer where that hammer just slides, moves back and forth, and then it bangs it out. Now you've got this swivel end on it that you can rotate to put it inside to get the seal out. Put it in there. And it pops the seal right out. Okay, we got everything cleaned off. Now we're going to reinstall the seal, the new seal. Now if you have a seal installer, that's fine. If not, just find a socket that's pretty much the same size, and you can use that. Slide your seal in, get it as square as you can just by hand. Just using that socket on an extension. Just hammer that seal in square until it bottoms out and doesn't go any further. You change the wheel cylinder, loosen the brake line. It's got a swivel on the back of it. If they're too tight, don't force it. Get something like PV Blaster or some type of a penetrating fluid and soak it down. It'll probably work itself loose. If it doesn't, Sometimes you actually end up having to change that brake line. Then there's 1/2 inch or 13 bolts to hold the wheel cylinder in place. Once you get those bolts loose, then the wheel cylinder should just pop off. Clean off the mounting area. You need to take the new wheel cylinder. Should just slide in place. Then on the back side, thread in your brake line, start your bolts. And take your wrench and just tighten down that swivel until it's good and snug. Sometimes you can get it with just a regular wrench, and sometimes you need what they call a line wrench. To clean everything off, just take a can of brake clean and spray everything down real good. You might need a wire brush to get some of the gooey parts off. Now when you slide the axle back in, it should just slide right into place. Get it all lined up and then just start your bolts again. Now on the new wheel cylinder, you have to take the plungers off the old wheel cylinder and put them in the new wheel cylinder. They should just push straight in.